So guys, I told you that this week we would do a project with the book Zach's Alligator. And I showed you the alligator that we would be using. So let me just remind you about the book Zach's Alligator by Shirley Mazel. A big box came in the mail for Zach. It was from Zach's Uncle Jim in Florida. Zach shook the box. What could it be, he wondered. He untied the bow and ripped off the paper. There was another box inside. Zach lifted the lid. Inside was an alligator keychain with a note from Uncle Jim. It said, "Dear Zach, here is a present for you. Have fun. Love, your Uncle Jim. P.S. Water, Bridget." Zach held up the keychain. "This must be Bridget," he said. Zach put Bridget in the sink and turned on the faucet. Bridget began to move. Her head turned, her tail curled. Bridget grew bigger and bigger, and soon she filled the sink. Zach moved Bridget to the tub and turned on the shower. Bridget stretched inside. "That feels so good," she said. Zach watched. Bridget grew larger and larger, and she grew out of the tub and over the side. Bridget moaned and groaned and whipped her tail. She splashed water everywhere. "What is going on in there?" called Zach's mother. "I'm watering the alligator," said Zach. "Alligator? What alligator?" "The one Uncle Jim sent," Zach said. He heard his mother laugh. "I see," she said. "Well, clean up when you're done." "I will," said Zach. Bridget crawled out of the tub and onto the floor. "I'm hungry," she said. "Do you have any fish?" "I don't know," said Zach. "Let's go see." Bridget followed Zach down the stairs and into the kitchen. Zach opened the refrigerator door. "No fish," said Bridget. "No," said Zach. "No fish. But here is some meatloaf." "I can fix you a meatloaf special." "What is that?" asked Bridget. "A surprise," said Zach. "I love surprises," said Bridget. Bridget went into the living room and stretched out on the sofa. The sofa shook. Bridget looked at the TV. "What a funny-looking box," she said. Then she hollered to Zach, "Hurry up with the food." "I am coming," said Zach. He was making his meatloaf special. Meatloaf, peanut butter, mustard, banana, and a couple of pickles. "Zach, what are you doing?" asked his mother. "I'm fixing some meatloaf for Bridget." "Who is Bridget?" "The alligator," said Zach. "Oh, of course," said Mother. "Well, save some for dinner." "I will," said Zach. I don't think his mother believes him. Bridget ate every bite of Zach's meatloaf special. "Delicious," she said. "I have never eaten anything like that before. Back home in the Glades, I eat mostly fish and snakes and slugs." Suddenly, Bridget jumped up from the sofa. "Time for a walk," she said. Bridget wobbled to the door. Zach followed Bridget's long tail. It knocked over a chair and some books off the table. Zach picked up the chair and the books. "We are going out, Mom," he called. "We?" she asked. "Oh, yes, you and Bridget. I forgot." "Well, don't be too long. Dad will be home soon." Oh, my. Outside, Bridget was wrestling with the garden hose. "I will get you," she growled. She gave the hose a big bite. Water spurted everywhere. Zach ran to turn off the water. "That snake will not bother anyone ever again," said Bridget. Zach sighed and shook his head. Bridget took off down the sidewalk, and Zach followed. Just then the mailman pulled up with the truck. "What is that?" called Bridget. Before Zach could Answer. Bridget attacked. She bit the tire of the truck and air hissed out. Dogs are bad enough, shouted the mailman, but I cannot handle this. No, sir, not alligators. The mailman jumped into his truck and drove away with a flat tire. Clump, clump, clump. Bridget shook her head. I'm glad we don't have those in the glade, she said. Zach tried to say something, but Bridget was off again. They came to the park. Bridget wanted to swing, and after that she climbed the monkey bars. Then she jumped on the seesaw. Zach had never seen anyone seesaw by herself. Next, Bridget ran to the merry-go-round. Round and round she went. Bridget began to sing, Oh, I'm a gator from the glades, and I can do anything, I mean anything. Bridget got so dizzy that she fell off the merry-go-round. Zach helped Bridget up, and just then his best friend Turk rode by on his bicycle. Hey, Zach, said Turk, where did you get that alligator? From my Uncle Jim, said Zach. Some uncle, Turk said. Suddenly, Bridget shouted, What's that fuzzy wuzzy? The woman took one look at Bridget and picked up her dog. Come on, Poopsie, she said. Let Mama take you home. Bridget did a cartwheel. Who would want that fuzzy wuzzy anyway, she said. I'm thirsty, not hungry. Bridget did a quick 1-2 and hop-skipped to the fountain. She drank big gulps of water. Zach and Turk watched. Will you bring Bridget to school? Asked Turk. I don't know, said Zach. A policeman came over. You need a leash for that alligator, he said. There's a law, you know. Yes, sir, said Zach. The policeman frowned. Well, keep him under control. Him? Cried Bridget. Well, I beg his pardon. How rude. Hasn't he ever seen a girl gator before? You should bring her to school, said Turk. Maybe, said Zach. Zach and Turk rode Bridget around the park. Suddenly, Bridget started to shrink. I need more water, she said. Zach and Turk helped her to the fountain. Bridget slurped the cool water. This place is too dry, she said. In the glades, there's plenty of water and moss and tall grass. What are the glades? Asked Turk. The Everglades, said Zach. They are in Florida, where my Uncle Jim lives. Do you think he could send me an alligator? Asked Turk. I don't know, said Zach. I will ask him. That would be great, said Turk. We have to go now, said Zach. Don't forget to bring Bridget to school, yelled Turk. Oh, please, Bridget called to Zach. I want to see what school is like. We will see, said Zach. On the way home, Bridget was shrinking more and more. She looked up at Zach with the big, shiny alligator eyes. Will you water me again? She asked. I will water you every day, said Zach. Good, said Bridget. Bridget was getting smaller and smaller. She bobbed her head up and down and began singing, I'm a gator from the glades and I like to have fun every day. Oh, yeah. When they got home, Bridget was a keychain size. Zach put her safely in his pocket. Hello, said Zach's father. Your mother said you were out with the alligator. May I see it? Yes, sir, said Zach, and he pulled out the keychain with the small alligator hanging from it. That's very nice, said his father. Now go wash up for dinner. Zach went upstairs to his room. He could hear his mother tell his father that they would have chicken for dinner instead of meatloaf. Are you all right? Whispered Zach. Never better, Bridget said. She yawned. Don't forget to water me tomorrow. I won't, said Zach. Zach put Bridget back in his pocket. Zach, called Mother. Dinner is ready. I am coming, Zach called back. Zach felt Bridget move. He patted his pocket and smiled. And Bridget's small again. And that's the end of Zach's alligator.